Just in the chat. And hello, everyone else. Welcome to Indies Under the Knife, my weekly stream where I play your games that you're still working on, and I go, ugh, what's that? I'm Joe. This channel is Indie Game Clinic, a variety channel about indie games and how they're made. And every week I take a look at some games that you've sent me. I look back over the past couple of months of games that have been submitted, and I try and squish them into a theme. Sometimes I do a stream with one game and I play it for longer. Sometimes I do multiple. This week we're looking at multiple games that are connected by a vibe. They are not games in the same genre. I don't know if there's going to be much we can compare between them, but they're all games that are kind of creepy but kind of cute. They have sort of an art style that overlaps those categories, I would say. So whereas sometimes we would be looking at games of a particular genre or something like that, this time we are looking at games that have a similar appeal in terms of their kind of creative direction. If you're watching for the first time and you're a game developer and you think you want to submit a game for this, you can look at my website, indiegameclinic.com. There is a link here. It says, if you've got an unfinished game and you'd like to see it on the weekly Indies Under the Knife stream, please submit it here. And it says here, and you can click on here and it will take you to a form. I know. And yeah, if you email me stuff, I generally don't read it because the form allows me to do what I just said, which is organize the games so that they go together in a stream that makes some kind of sense. So today we're looking at Abysm, The Pale Queen, a pixel art puzzle game inspired by classics such as Boulder Dash. I haven't seen a Boulder Dash like in some time. Yeah, but it's interesting. We've sort of got like some kind of Lovecraftian pixel art world, and then Boulder Dash was like a 80s video game where you dug out sections of a map and then everything falls down. So some very like grid-based physics and trying not to get squished by stuff. I think that's really neat because I haven't seen a Boulder Dash style game in a long time, and I think merging it with this kind of Lovecraftian pixel art style and setting is a cool idea. It makes sense to me. We've also got Cradle of Hannah to look at. Hannah, Cradle of Hatred. That's what it's called. By Try Hard Studios. Thanks for sending this in. We're looking at sort of like, it's kind of giving Zelda vibes, but scary Zelda vibes, which is an interesting mix of things. This looks like a relatively far into development game. And as with all of these games, if we kind of only scratch the surface of one of them, and I think it deserves a kind of longer shot, I will maybe look at streaming it another day. But I also think Tryhard recently joined our Discord, which means he might show up on some other stuff, because we do another stream that is just for the Discord members twice a month. We've got something called Torso Tennis. A sports-like roguelike, draft and graft cursed limbs, get horrible tattoos, break the game and become a tennis god. This is such a cool art style, which you can kind of see why I put it in the creepy cute category. It's got this kind of sort of weird collagey, it's like goth Parappa the Rapper. You know, it's like if Parappa the Rapper was in a new metal band. If Parappa the Rapper was in Korn. And there was some slap bass going on, tuned to like low C or something. And then Ghostly Acres. So this is an idle hotel management game with spooky ghostly tourists. Some of these games I think probably would need longer than half an hour to really get a sense of what they are. But we'll give it a shot this morning. And someone said, hell yeah to Scary Zelda. So let's go for Scary Zelda first. We've got Cradle of Hatred coming up first game. Let me just get that ready. actually installed everything before the stream today. I feel very, very grown up and organized today. Just shrink myself down. A survival cozy style game could work. I mean, yes. The thing about questions of like, can X work, is that making the game is testing that idea. You know, that's what game design is. It's testing the idea and testing it as quick as you can, playing it, getting other people to play it, and then seeing if it does work. Because I'm not going to say anything can work, but most things can work. It just comes down to the execution and like how you combine the things. So any other times you say, oh, could this and this mixed together work? Possibly. It depends how you do it and how you approach the blending of those elements. So survival cozy can work. I mean, Scriptic, play the demo of We Harvest Shadows. And that will give you a sense of whether survival cozy can work. I think that game works very, very well, but it's also incredibly polished in certain ways. But yeah, I think I think doing cozy stuff and scary stuff together works very well, because the problem with a lot of smaller horror games is just they are incessantly scary all the way through and they never give you a break. And I think horror's a lot more effective when you get some moments to just chill out and enjoy being in a nice place. It's kind of why Silent Hill works, because you're not always in the full like hell world. It has some variety to it, you know. Okay, let's start. New game. Morning Kitten, morning Brainoid. Okay, gamepad recommended. That's cool. Deep within an old forest, ancient forces brought to existence the great tree. From their bountiful seeds, all sorts of spirits sprout to life, bringing abundance to the land. The hearts of men, steered by greed, yearned for this power. Eager, they massed their forces and raised their swords against the forest. Is that a mist that we're in? Yeah, I thought it was water at first, and I was like, why is the water not splashing? But it's like a... Can't tell if we're supposed to be in water or mist. The war brewed only suffering and resentment, tainting the land with corruption and malice. Even now, the great roots still grow and slither, bringing with them no richness, but despair. For an insatiable hatred echoes through its depths. I like that we combine those things together. If you made me read all that and then showed a long animation of the character getting up, it would feel like a bit much. But okay, we're scared. We're doing a scared face. We've got a jump. We've got a little dodge. We've got an equipment inventory screen on Y. Okay, so far everything's pretty intuitive. Who's this guy? You've made the golem from my game. It's Lem. Cameo. The Adventure Time face. It's what I draw when I can't be bothered to think of what a face should look like. It's a great atmosphere so far. What's that? Targeting. Main item. I can pick something up. Okay, I'm getting a thing to pick up there, and it's... Oh no, I was pressing the wrong button. Sorry, I jump a lot between PlayStation and a computer with a Xbox controller, so I frequently get confused by X, which is not a problem with this game. It is just a general problem with video games in general. There we go. Okay, so I can pick up rocks and then I can throw them. And if that's going to be our way of dealing with baddies, then that seems quite neat thematically, because we're not a character that looks like a badass, right? We're a character that looks quite vulnerable, so having some way of fighting things but making it very limited to like picking up things in the environment and using them once makes a lot of sense. Hello. I've come to examine you. This person seems to be looking for something or someone up the cliff. Somehow he doesn't seem to notice me. I think a lot of the typographic choices I've seen in this game so far are good. But that particular style could use the letters spaced a bit more. Because if we look at cliff, it looks like it says diff. But I think overall the typographic choices we've seen, you've got this kind of approach where everything looks like it's written as part of Hannah's diary or something, and this mix of like doodles and runes and stuff. I think it's a good overall direction, but I think that main text just needs a little tiny one more pixel space per letter, you know? Okay. So we got... He's looking up there. I'll have a little swim. Oh, okay, so he's in a lift. It's like in an elevator. He's waiting for someone to pull him up in that elevator thing. And they're not doing it. Oh, I got a nice sneaky sneak button. We can vault up onto some things. It's a bit dark over here. I'm still doing a scared face. Just so you know. Scared! Right, where am I trying to get to? It's a... The environment's very, very pretty. I think I got outside of it, though, unfortunately. Don't think I'm supposed to be able to get out here. Is this part of the level, or have I escaped? Oh no, that was part of the level. Okay, cool. Just looked a bit smooth. Can I help? Am I supposed to, like... Okay. Hello? Ah. Weird little spirits that hide from you. So far, so I'm missing a bit of a goal in terms of like something I can immediately see in the environment that I know I'm trying to resolve. Which is okay, because I think that, you know, we've got a kind of you are lost in the woods type scenario. But one thing I'm really enjoying is that there's lots of things that kind of raise questions in a neat way. So like that guy trying to get up the thing, and then we've got these spirits, and I'm getting lots of things to kind of think about and wonder about without being told too much. And I think that's a good... I think that's a good way to introduce a narrative adventure game rather than telling the player too much. I think maybe even all that text at the beginning was probably a little bit too much for the start of something like this. You can tell people that through the characters as it goes on. What could have caused this blockage? Can a group so small even clear the path? There's no way to fit the wagon through this mess. Opening the road is going to take a few weeks at best. Okay, you're stuck. Am I anything to do with you guys? Was I travelling with you guys before I woke up in a swamp? Oh yeah, select for the quest log. Where am I? I need to find my way back home. Okay. He must be struggling with a horrible nightmare. Please, no. Keep them away. They're here. Oh. Can he? Okay. The soldier stares at the fire in deep contemplation, lost in thoughts. We haven't found any messengers. All the checkpoints seem abandoned so far. Where is everyone? What the hell is going on? See, I think the problem at the moment is that there's like a disconnect between the quest I've been given and what I'm actually able to do or try to do in the environment. What I'm doing now, what I'm kind of resorting to, is just looking around for any part of this level that I haven't been into. And I think that might be fine later on in a game, but I think when you're sort of onboarding people, you want to do something a little bit more on rails so that they feel like they're making progress, because I think I've already started to hit a point where I'm feeling a bit lost. Ambience is fantastic. The art is beautiful. Controls feel pretty good. Like, all of the things the player character can do feel pretty well. Like, they link together quite well as well. Like, the actions of, like, if I roll and jump and swim and everything, that's all pretty decent for a small indie game. But I do think it is worth... It's not even a hand-holding thing. It's just giving the player a very clear chain of things to do at the start of the game. Because, like, I get that we're lost and we want to sort of evoke that, but it may not be great for, like, onboarding people into the game and making them excited about playing the next part of it. Okay, I've found an area I couldn't get to before. Is there anything up here? Because to me that feels like an achievement. It's like I found something new. If there's not going to be anything up here, it will be disappointing now. There's quite a lot of kind of weird geometry and like places you can get to, and then there doesn't seem to be anything there. Ooh, look. Okay, so maybe the soldiers are a bit of a kind of red herring, because you kind of think you're supposed to hang out with them and actually you're supposed to wander away from them. Can I pick these up? Nope. Ah, okay. Oh. Okay, we've got some sort of big jump puzzle across here, I think. So that's the camp. Do some platforming across there. I missed the one I was actually trying to jump across because it looked different from below. Ah, okay. Oh, I think I was supposed to use those to weight that thing down. Hello? I like that the creatures, the creatures feel quite ambiguous in terms of whether they're supposed to be friends or not, which is nice. It makes it feel quite creepy. So unfortunately, it took me a while to get up to that jump puzzle, and now I've fallen back down this side of the cliff, so I think I have to go all the way around the outside again. I think the level design is quite cool in terms of like what there is to do. I'm getting quite a lot of moments where the camera is a little bit close for me to see what I'm doing. And okay, so this was the way I went before. I think I went under here. So I think what's happening is like that is quite a good landmark of like being able to remember the areas I came through. I think there are a few areas that look very similar to each other, and that is making navigation a little bit difficult. So some of that comes down to having enough art assets to make an area look different in different areas. Like the bigger you make a level, particularly in like a 3D environment, the bigger you make it, the more need you have for like differentiation in different areas. This area is quite memorable because it's got the blue mushrooms and it's got all this kind of like overhang and stuff that makes it feel like a specific area of the map. And now I'm back up to... Oh, there's the jump puzzle over there. I still need to go around further. So yeah, I would say that this game is very, very strong in a lot of the areas. You can see the atmosphere is good. The graphic design of the menus and the typography is pretty good, apart from the closeness of those letters. And I would say the weakest area that, from a total like first impressions gut feel, the weakest area so far feels like it's like navigation of the levels, being able to navigate. And some of that will just, I think, as you get more art assets and you add more stuff to the project, if you are, then yeah, there we go. Oh, that was pretty good. I thought I might not have that grab then, but I did. Saved me at the last minute. I think just having, like that purple tree, for example, that's a good landmark. I think there's just some areas around that start area where it was kind of easy to get stuck in a corner and not know where you were. It might just be that the area is a little bit too complex for a first area of a game while people are getting their bearings, you know. I kind of get the feeling we're going to get some interesting physics puzzles with these rocks, because I've been on things that have been tilting based on the weight that I put on them. But so far I haven't needed them for anything like that. Okay, so that's where they were down there. I'm now over here. And am I supposed to go down? I don't think I'm supposed to go down. Going down feels almost like giving up after I've spent all this time trying to clamber and climb up high. But I can't see where else I would go from here, so... Into that bit? When the camera's very close like this, when you're on a platform and you're trying to jump or something, it gets a bit... There's a bit of a clash between the fact that I'm trying to line up a jump and see what's going on. Oh. But I think that's just like a cursed... A general cursed problem with third-person action games. Can I... okay. That's very well telegraphed. I think you've done a good job there of making that clearly a climbable wall without it looking too much like an unnatural thing. I think the art style here is very well pitched for doing that sort of thing. It's one of the things about doing a slightly lower poly kind of stylized art style, is you can get away with doing that kind of clear environmental messaging without it looking too weird. Is that ivy grabbable? Probably not. It doesn't look very grabbable. Looks like it would break. Whoa! Soldier mans. I'm being Kuno from Disco Elysium, throwing rocks at soldiers. One sec. Just getting rid of that noisy background that's a bit distracting. just trying to get a screen up where I could have the chat showing at the same time, but I think I've fudged something in Restream, so we'll get that fixed for next time. I'm not going to spend time on it now. Okay, so there are some of those weird little kind of yokai type dudes. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like quite tight spaces in this where you might have to kind of design around that. It's like once you're totally set on how the camera works, and you might have to set some like bounds of like how close, how many kind of smaller spaces you have. So that allows me to get over there, but I couldn't really find anything there that I needed to do. It allowed me to climb up there, but I can also get there from here. So it seems to be giving me 2 ways to get up here. Oh. Ugh. So I need to get up there, really. That's where they're trying to... That's where the knights are trying to get. Oof. Oof. Related to the big rocks. Okay, that's good, because I kept seeing rocks we could pick up and we haven't done anything with them yet, and it feels like the situation where you can pick up rocks and the situation where you can do something with them felt like it was going to be like a bit too far apart. So knowing that I need to do something with these rocks is helpful. Does this tilt if you put rocks on it? Total cadenza in the chat. You've got explosions near your house. That sounds bad. Sorry to hear about your explosions. I hope they've stopped now. Hope they don't become a regular occurrence. Okay, I think we're tilting this with rocks. Yes, okay, and then is that enough? Okay, I think this physics puzzle would be clearer if these rocks looked about 2 times bigger. Because they don't really look big enough to weigh something down, and I think that might give people a clearer clue of how to do these things. Because I thought we were going to be doing that earlier when I saw the seesaw, but yeah, okay, we're into the next area. Okay, 5 more minutes on this. I'm seeing lots of good stuff. The atmosphere is fantastic. We're starting to see scary stuff. There's a knight with no head. That's why the knights down there can't get up. that's a nice bit of sort of dramatic irony now of, you know, we see the knight, he can't get up the ladder, then we find out why, and it's scary, and the knights don't know. There's no way of telling them. It would be good if so there's a concept in level design called, oh, what did I hear it called before? Valves. So sometimes when someone moves through a level, you want points where they can't go back, and it's referred to as a valve. So they flow into an area and then they can't go back into that last area. So it could be like when you drop down from a platform into a new area, and then you can see back to where you came, but you just can't go back there for a while. I think some of this might need a bit more of that, because I currently, like, I can see that this is what's happened to the knights, right? And certain types of players will now want to go all the way back and tell the knights what happened, and I'm pretty sure that's not a thing we can do. So maybe we need some ways to, like, constrain the player and stop them getting lost and stop them going back when they don't need to and stuff. But it's neat. I really like I think the like basic feel of the character is great. The atmosphere is great. The location's really nice. It's just, I think it's a little bit over complex in terms of how many nooks and crannies there are for a first area. We've got a... Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Coward. Cowardly spirit. Oh. We've got a big water wheelie bridge type thing. I can't swim under it. Yeah, some of the level design, I think, comes down to needing to simplify things. Some of it might be guiding lighting, and some of it would be just having a few differentiators for areas that look the same. So if you keep moving the camera around and you go, oh, this area looks the same as that area, then, like, I don't know, grab some flowers that are a particular colour and stick them in one area and not the other, or some mushrooms or something, because the areas where I sort of went through them once or twice and I knew where I was, it was generally because there was, like, some sort of clear thing like that that marked it out. And deeper into your game, this stuff will matter less. You really don't want people to get too lost too early on. Because once people are onboarded into the game and they're invested in playing it and completing it and doing more of it, it doesn't matter quite as much if they get lost. Either, like, you know, geographically or with your game mechanics or whatever. But you just really want to not lose people too early on, because they will switch off quite quickly. Okay, there's a thing to go up here. Quite dark. We could do with maybe a little bit more ambient light. Or something to carry. The ropes are worn and dry. I should be able to break them somehow. Okay, so I think we're throwing a rock at some ropes, maybe? Got something for me to throw around here? The cart crane. Yeah, the lighting looks great where there are lights, but there's a lot of... I think it's very, you know, you've gone with there are lights where it would be natural to have lights, which is great for creating a mood, but it's not for making it scary, but it's making it quite hard to see. So I've got a... Need to use the cart crane. Okay. Ah, that's amazing. That's really good. I think it might be good to have some context clues on mechanisms you can use versus ones you can't. That's a really neat puzzle. That's a really neat puzzle. I think when you've got something like that that is interactable, you could put some very small context clues on that wouldn't be as far as like yellow paint, right? But if we said, okay, when we have a mechanism the player can interact with, we make sure that one part of the mechanism has a clue that you can interact with it on, and then you don't need to have a highlight, you don't need to have anything like yellow paint, but maybe if there was like a sort of, you know, like a copper green color that was on the central spoke of that or something. Because one issue I see happening with these mechanisms, you've got these big wooden mechanisms, right? There's one there that I completely passed by. I didn't know it was interactive. And that's okay, but then we've got a lot of these big wooden mechanisms where if we go further down, there's this next crane, and if that is interactive, it should have something on it that tells us as well. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what's happening here, is I have to help these guys through. But I would try to add guidance in a way that doesn't rely on like glows and stuff to start off with. You know, like see what you can do to change the model itself to add guidance there. Okay, so they want to go through now, and that's blocked. And in order to get them through, I would have to put some sort of weight on there. I don't know if I can get there from here. Can I climb on it to get up? Oh, I did a weird sketchy double jump then. I don't think I'm supposed to be able to get there from this side, so... Yeah, so now I've got a sense of a more immediate goal. It becomes... I'm going to stop here pretty much because we've got 3 other games to look at. But now I have a... Because my initial goal is I need to find my way home, which is fine. That's like an overall story goal of what's happening. But that didn't give me something to like look for in the environment so much. Now that I know that, okay, I've helped the knights get up that place and now I'm helping the wagon move along, that gives me a real kind of physical anchor in the environment to go, okay, I can see what the next stage of what I need to do is to lift that up. And that either means I need to lift that up or I need to do something else in order to get over there and lift that up. And it gives me a thing I can actually physically look for in the environment, whereas the first section didn't have that. It's neat. I like the way that this game is structured. I think you're going to lose people early on if you don't kind of tighten up some stuff about how easy it is to get lost. But I like where this is going so far. I personally enjoy the type of puzzles that you're doing here, where you've got this kind of quite naturalistic approach to, there's a physical kind of mechanism in the environment and you can use it, you just need to realize in the first place that it's relevant kind of thing. It's cool. But yeah, I think... Can I get up there? Can I climb on that bit? No. And this is where we start to get some kind of difficulty with the player controls, because it's not always clear what you can't jump onto. So you might need a way of messaging that as well. You might need a way of making it clearer when I can't grab onto the edge of something. Making it spiky would be a good one. I don't know who else in the chat has ever heard of a affordance theory, but this is basically the idea that it comes from product design, but it's like when someone looks at a thing, does it have clues on it that tell you what it does and doesn't do, right? So that's the whole thing with the door. If it's got a pad on it, the door is telling you push it rather than pull it, right? So situations like what I just had there, where I tried to jump up onto the big crane and I couldn't grab onto it, if we designed that asset to have some spikes along the top, then that would message that thing, yeah? But yeah, I'm gonna stop this one here because we got 3 more to look at, but that's really neat. That is Hannah, Cradle of Hatred. If you are watching on YouTube, there should be a link to the itch page if you want to download that and play further than I did. Cradle of Hatred by Tryhard Studios. That was our Scary Zelda, or the start of Scary Zelda. Let's check out Abysm next, which is our Scary Boulder Dash. So, Boulder Dash was a very early video game from the 80s where you push stuff around and stuff falls on your head. And I think this is a neat... I think, like, Zelda but scary is a good sell for me. I think whenever anyone does a game that is kind of making me feel nostalgia for something I played as a kid, it needs to have something else added. And I think doing things that look like games we played as kids but are like the scary version is a nice way of updating them to some degree. Okay, so this is a mouse and keyboard thing, I think. Start. This is where your investigation has taken you, to the catacombs of Portsmore. You're not normally superstitious, but this place instills a sense of foreboding which is hard to ignore. Okay, what am I doing to progress this text? I'm not, I'm just moving directions, okay. That was a good amount of text for an intro, before someone is really invested in a game. But please don't use all capitals when you have full sentences of text in your game. Is controlling your character too hard, or do you simply feel that the game is too fast? You can change the speed setting. Okay. As you enter this lower chamber, you spot an ancient-looking stone effigy. As your eyes rest on it, you feel a sudden compulsion to touch it. Hello, stone effigy. It feels like all of the warmth is drained out of your hand, heating the smooth stone. Okay, so I think the idea is I'm supposed to touch the effigy before I leave the level. I think that's what we're going for here. As you enter the chamber, a heavy iron grate thunders down to block your path back to the surface. You've been trapped! Did the people in town above not know this would happen? For you, death is not the end. This is, oh, what's it called? This is the most recent Amnesia game, but turned into a retro puzzle game. Okay. That's nice. We have to touch the Cthulhus without getting squashed before we leave the level. And it's judging our time. I feel like a game like this, it would make more sense to judge it in steps rather than time. Like how many moves you take. The town was built on the ruins of an old Roman settlement, and some believe the catacombs are much older. Remains of an unknown civilization. Who knows what you might find down here. Yeah, I love all the little dust mote pixel things and stuff. It's really nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think you need a keyboard shortcut for restart as well, maybe. I see. I think I see. Yeah, just as a... Is there a shortcut for restart? I feel like people will need that. Okay, so do that, and then dig that deeper. And then do that. Quick restart. Yeah. Dope. Dope. Okay. Double P. PP. The game feel of the boulders falling is really nice. This game is kind of really reminding me of something I've been thinking of recently, which is like when you remake an old game, you sort of want to give people the feeling they had when they played that game, but not necessarily copy everything about it. And I think this is doing a good job of that. Like the art style's a bit more updated. You've got this kind of like dust motes on the top, screen shake, the little dark circle and stuff. It could have been a direct Boulder Dash clone, but it's not. It's got lots of little things that sort of update it in terms of how it feels. Your mind reels at the sight of the beast. You've never seen anything like it. It looks unnatural, almost unreal, like the feverish nightmare of a demented mind. Ah. Yeah, the atmosphere is great. It's it's not a massively weird pairing of things, because in Boulder Dash we're like mining underground and stuff, but I don't know, I think Lovecraftian Boulder Dash is a bit of a it's an inspired one. It's one of those ideas that you think that doesn't make sense, and then you think about it for a little while and you go, no, that actually, yeah, that could work. It does work. Okay, he's not tracking me, so I can run away from that Shothoth or whatever it is. He had a whole life ahead of him. Oh, I see. We're gonna... Hang on. Oh, no. Okay, that didn't work how I thought it was gonna work. I'm holding the boulder. That still didn't do what I thought it was going to do. But it was cool. Ah, I think that's what I need to do. I need to push it off so that it lands on him when he's not directly in front of it. This is neat. This is, okay, that didn't work. Not as solid as the regular walls. So that doesn't help me though, because I need the boulder out of the way to be able to touch the Cthulhu. That doesn't work. So the explosion of killing him does get rid of the thing. Oh, I need to push it down on the right. That's it. That was it. That's neat. Bit of kind of trial and error puzzle solving, but I felt like each iteration through the puzzle I was actually getting closer. Which I often don't get with puzzle games. I get stuck, and it's just like... It's just like you can't see what the other way you could do the thing is. You just get totally stuck. That was neat. I felt like I dug myself into a hole, and I could think my way out of it. Yeah, very good teaching level. Oh. I forgot things can fall sideways. Curse you, physics. Yeah, the same bit that got me last time. Yeah, the difference in level size is nice. It makes it feel very varied as you move through the different levels. Yeah, I'm terrible at Barbarous You as well. It's a game I love the idea of, and I'm just terrible at in practice. There we go. Right. Whew. Hey, Rasputin. I feel like this community has some of the best screen names. I don't know if it's just because my content attracts silly people. But it's good. I like it. Oh. That was really hard. Exactly, yeah. Okay, we're stuck there. So we've got pushy blocks. Okay. This is great, though. And I do think the small level, big level pattern is really good. If they were all massive like that last one, I would get fatigued very quickly. You've got a really nice back and forth between small learning levels where a new mechanic is introduced, and then what would you call them? Like skill gates, they call them in it's a game design term, but it's kind of a term to do with like challenge design and encounter design of, you know, you teach people something by putting it in a level a couple of times, and then you create a skill gate, which is like, okay, if you haven't mastered the skill we're trying to teach you, you won't progress past this point and get to the harder part of the game. And in like a combat game, the skill gate will be a boss or a mini boss or something. But here it is those bigger levels where if you haven't really internalized the rules you're supposed to learn so far, you will not make it past that level. I think I'm going to get stuck here if I don't do some specific thing. I'm not sure what that is yet. I have a feeling I'm going to need to dig all of this out so that I can push stuff back through there, but I'm not totally sure. See, yeah, I get stuck there because I need to make sure that the way is clear to be able to push stuff back along, or I'll get stuck in the second chamber. It really fits the theme of a sort of Lovecraftian expedition very, very well. So let's... Will these fall sideways if I do that? Of course they will, yeah. Of course they'll fall sideways if I do that. Oh yeah, I see no problem here. That goes there. That goes there. Got some nice little ornaments either side of my door. Lovely. I go up here. I touch him. I touch him. Yeah. There's something very delightful about making a Lovecraftian... making a Lovecraftian game where touching the statue and having the scary noise is like part of the win condition. I just misstepped one time. Okay. We know what we're doing now, though. Over there. Ah! This is really not a game for button bashers. Even like the feeling of, oh no, what have I done, is quite a sort of Lovecraftian story thing to experience. So it's good. It's just the mix of the things in this game just keeps getting more and more appropriate. Okay, gently, gently, carefully. Whew. Right, we're gonna do a couple more levels on this. I'm very impressed by this. I think it's executing very well on the things it's trying to do. I would try and make sure you put that text into a typeface that has a lowercase, because all caps is generally difficult to read. It's particularly difficult for people with dyslexia to read because all of the letters have very similar shapes. It makes the letters all look like squares. But that hurts legibility for everyone, but it particularly hurts legibility for people that have low vision or dyslexia. So I would just generally avoid using all caps unless it's for like a single word or a title that only has 2 or 3 words in. Okay, here we are. Just avoiding the baddies, I think. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. How do we solve that then? Is it this sort of thing? I'm made a prisoner. Ah! Well, that didn't do what I needed it to do. Ah, I see. This is the they're supposed to blow that up. Okay. Don't know if I've got this set up right, really. Yes. I've messed it up. It's great. I'm a big fan of anything where the failure is funny. Like that where I forgot what I was doing and dropped it all the way down. What I'm trying to do is create the bit where it falls on him, and then just to make my life a bit easier, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. And then we let him out. Too low. Need to let him get higher. Really, really great puzzle design in this. I've messed up again. I think I can still save this. Ah! I would say, it is very tiring, like the amount of thinking you have to do for each one. But, I mean, that's puzzle games for you. And also, I'm pretty sure that's just what Boulder Dash was always like as well. It's pretty good. It's just... very difficult to... What am I even doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. That's what I'm doing. Dirt management. Whew. Right, last one. Yeah, I struggle with the mix of the mix of like the spatial logic you have to do for the puzzle plus the timing element is really tricky for me, but not in an unfun way. I find it very enjoyable. There's just certain types of games where you don't mind failing a bunch, and I think there's a few reasons for that, and one is that you can always in this you can always try and do it a different way. And the other is that you have put a lot of polish into what it feels like to fail and die in this and made that feel funny. Like, the amount of times I've laughed at my own death in this game is quite high. And I think in a game where you are... In a game where a player is failing a lot and the kind of game loop is being broken by the failure, there are a couple of approaches there, and one is to just immediately get them back into the play, which works very well for like speedrunning games like Super Meat Boy or Blood Thief and stuff like that. And then if you're kind of killing the player and then play stops for a moment and it's a bit more like, haha, you lost, you need to make that feel fun, and I think you've done a very good job of making that feel fun here. And it bridges the sort of creepy Lovecraftian theme and the sort of slightly more cutesy retro art style of the whole thing very well. To have that death both feel quite sort of nasty and brutal and also funny at the same time. Yeah, 7 in the chat said it perfectly. The death noise makes your deaths too funny to be frustrating. Exactly. Now I know what's going to happen is when I drop these boulders, I'm going to completely block my entrance. So I'm going to just do it, and then I'll have one more proper try at it, and then we'll move on to the next game. So I think you might have to do something with this level that's like this. You don't want those boulders over there to fall down this way and block your thing, so you need to keep something up there for them. So sort of creating this kind of... trying to create some sort of trap for the boulders so that they fall down into this big bowl. Trying to create like a big bowl for them to go into, I think. That's the way with this one. And with a bit of overhang either side so that they don't... Yeah! We like it when the boulders fall. Yeah, the sound choices in this game are just perfect, really. The kind of boulders have this sort of temping bowling kind of sound to them. I'd prefer it if you didn't eat me. That's me done. So I don't remember what the scoring condition was in Boulder Dash, whether the kind of touching the statue thing in this is unique to this, but it's all it all works together very, very well. And Code Rad in the chat said that they could think of a different solution to the last puzzle. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I was saying this like last week, I think, about puzzle design. Like, I really like puzzles when they're not single solution. And when you can kind of just keep trying different things and fudge your way through. That's my favorite type of puzzle in a game. I think when a game is just giving me a puzzle that you must solve in a particular way, it's not that I don't think it's good game design or I think it's bad game design. There's just something that doesn't work about that for me as a player psychologically. And I think a lot of people that bounce off of those types of games, it's the same thing. You want to play around, you want to try different stuff out. And when a puzzle game is single solution, then it doesn't work for you. And this is a very good example of a multiple solution puzzle game. And the reason for that is because there are so many little simple rules about how things in the world interact that it does allow you to like look at a situation and judge what's going to happen. You can see there's a new creature here. I just want to see what he does before we. This still seems to be doing the same movement pattern that the last one was. What do you do that's different? That one seems to kill you if you're next to it. Oh, he kills the statues as well. He eats the statue and picks it up. I don't know why I'm gendering a hideous eldritch beast. That creature picks the statue up. And then you can't solve the level until you've squished it and got it out of the gelatinous blob. Excuse me. Right, I'm going to end that one there because I think that one was very neat and we saw a lot of it. Go and check that one out if you want to. I will put the link in the chat. If you are watching this on YouTube, the links should be in the video description as well. I would put them on itch, but it's usually a last minute thing when I get itch ready before one of these streams. That's Abysm. And that was, I mean, it looked cool. And I remember playing Boulder Dash as a kid, and I haven't played it as an adult. And I think that executes on the idea of mixing Boulder Dash with Lovecraft in a way that is sort of better than the sum of its parts. So very, very well done there. Very atmospheric. Really nice mix of moods. Like, it's genuinely creepy. And I think, you know, as someone that is a bit of a Lovecraft fan, one of the things I don't like about how Lovecraft tends to mesh with games and video games generally is they tend to become action games. They tend to become things that are about an action hero with a Tommy gun, and they're just a sort of a reason to do a kind of period action game where there's people in the Victorian period or people in the Prohibition era fighting tentacles with various types of guns and sticks of dynamite and stuff like that. And I don't think that really encapsulates what is genuinely scary about Lovecraft, which is this kind of, you know, this bigger than us, overwhelming evil from outside the universe that is not, you know, it's not really magical, it's not really religious, it is just an alien thing, and that it sort of erupting into a world of sort of a time when people didn't understand certain things about science and stuff like that. And like, the whole point of that setting is fighting the thing with a gun is meant to be impossible. But what tends to happen when you get it in sort of high fidelity action games is you just get someone killing Cthulhu with a Tommy gun or something like that. I felt like even though this game was a little bit silly and a little bit slapstick and a little bit fun, I think it kind of it it did a better job of capturing that type of cosmic horror than a lot of things like the Sunken City and stuff like that do sometimes, because it was so focused on like the player messing up and then going, oh no, what have I done? There's something about having a maddening puzzle that kills you that fits the theme very, very well. Let me just get Steam open for the last two, because they are both demos on Steam. Ghostly Acres and Torso Tennis. A lot of fiddly stuff I have to do these multi-game streams. Okay, so Echo and Lawyer were from last week. Torso Tennis, we'll check out Torso Tennis, and then Ghostly Acres right at the end. Torso Tennis, what does it say on the Steam page? Oh yeah, we saw this earlier. It's a kind of sports-like. Is it a kind of auto battler? Hard to tell. You are grafting bodies together to make a thing that does a thing. That's the best I can do with that description right now without reading the page. Really, really like the art style of this already. Now that's a start screen. New run. I love this kind of collage-y style. It's great. And we're getting some liquid drum and bass as well. How much more up my alley could this be? Serve with click or spacebar. Okay. Ball bounces, then scores. Serves target your cross-court location. Got it. So wherever I shoot from, it's going to go diagonally across from that. This is a very, very good way of training the player how to use a mechanic. Yeah, it's kind of Little Big Planet kind of vibes. Move into a bouncing ball to return. While returning, add spin. Serve here to make a stack. Okay. I don't quite understand that, but... nice stack. Okay. It's a very weird mix of things so far. Grid-based tennis. I mean, it works. I'm not quite sure I understand the deeper thing I'm supposed to be doing, but the basic controls of shooting feel pretty good. So all I was doing there was controlling my grid position, and then when I had the ball, I would quickly choose where I was shooting to, I think. I think that the tutorial, what I can see there, Too Much Tomato, that was pretty good. It was structured the way I like to see tutorials, which is every moment is quite snappy, and it usually just focuses on do this, do this, do this, rather than spending too much time explaining why you're doing that, because a lot of the time players won't listen to the context of why they're doing something until they've done it. Like, they need to do the thing, feel it, and go, okay, now I'm doing this. Now, why am I doing that? Right? That's the kind of order of information that most players will accept, is like, just be told to do a thing, do the thing, see it play out. Then if there's something else they need to know, like, oh, if you do this 3 times, you get a number wang. Then you tell them that after they've done it 3 times, rather than like telling them before, we're going to do this 3 times now, here's why you need to do it 3 times, right? So what I saw of that tutorial was very strong. One thing I would say is you've got this very kind of muted, cold color palette. And if there's anything that you really want to draw attention to with the player during that, I would throw some warm colors in, because anytime you've got all of this blue and green and it's very cold, and anytime you put a warm color on top of that, like a yellow or an orange, it's going to pop loads. And you might not want to do that all the way through the game, but in the tutorial, just to help guide the player's attention, it might be a quick way of doing that isn't too sort of difficult or expensive on your end. Okay, I can choose to find pliers to yoink limbs or earn some money, and I can't choose that yet, so I'm going to get that. Click and drag, draft and craft. Okay, this is my my torso with big eyeballs on it. I can put a snake on it. I can put mustard on it. Which is a pun on serving, because you serve stuff with a. I'm going to just move my camera. Sorry. Chance to spawn a shell. I want a chance to spawn a shell. I've got a scratcher leg. Yeah, this is all beautiful. Like, there's something so cool about this. I always admire games that are like mostly interface, because it's like pulling teeth for me in terms of implementing. These are like stats that I can level up. The thing I like about this as well is because the interface is so kind of juicy in its own right, it kind of makes you want to explore it and learn about the things yourself. So like even like that pop-in animation when we go hover over these and find out what they are. So these are kind of synergy types, Dino and Mighty. So if you've played an auto battler like Dota Underlords or something like that, where you add members to a team, and if you have like more of the same types of members, they gain a boost. I think that's what we've got here. So I've added one Dino limb to my body. Well, this limb is Dino and Mighty, which means next time I'm looking for synergies with either of those things. Dino adds to your hit power, Mighty adds to your return speed. Okay, cool. That's a fun mix of things as well. So you can make a torso with all dinosaur limbs or whatever. And these are my upcoming matches, I guess. Who I'm playing against. It's totally insane concept and art direction, but... Oh! Shells defend a space. Really nice sort of slow down. Just enough time to read that tiny bit of text there. You know, asking players to read in any sort of real-time situation, always a dangerous thing, but that was just perfect amount of time, perfect amount of text. The actual tennis game is really interesting because I feel in this weird space between, like, I don't quite know what I'm doing, but I seem to be doing it okay. So there might be some nuance I'm missing about how to make those shots and receive shots and stuff, but so far I seem to be doing okay. So it just seems to be something you can play very much by feel without having to really fully understand what's going on, like at a cognitive level. And I think so much of that is because the guidance is really good in terms of like what shows up on the grid of where you're meant to go and stuff. But basically you're looking on your side for where to move to, and then when you move to there and you've got the ball, you're looking at the other side to put spin on the ball to hit it to the particular places. And I know the tutorial kind of explained this, but I still feel it's not so much that I'm lost, it's that I'm surprised that I'm able to play it as well as I am, despite the fact that I don't feel like I fully took in the tutorial. The boot gives you hustle, increases your movement speed. The snake is a critter type. We haven't got much return. I'm going to start adding critter stuff. So we're going to go for like a critters and dinos build. I've got a mutt for an arm. I'll put a snake on the other arm. That'll do. Preview tattoos. Okay, so shop closed. I don't know if this is because it's a demo feature that we can't do them yet. Good to do a demo. Good to do a preview of it, even though it's a demo, though. Good typographic choices as well. You've got the kind of sketchy text used for flavor for the titles, and then this is Fredoka, I think. It's the most commonly used typeface on Roblox. But that's kind of used whenever we've got a full sentence to read and we need more clarity. Really good visual design decisions in this. Critters serve balls. Okay, so critters give us like a sort of multi-ball type thing. This is so neat. I've seen so many games that like play on the kind of grid-based auto battler thing, but don't really try and do anything different with the core gameplay. And this is nice. Oh. So the tattoos happen at the end of the week. Okay. So you've got your normal torso upgrades that you can do every time, and after the 3 matches, then it's the end of the week, and then you get a tattoo. Okay. I've got snakes for arms and a dog for a head. I also think like kind of turn-based but with timers is a very good like leveraging of what video games are good at. Yeah, give me I want that chomper head. I put it on my foot. Got a lucky dino head. Yes, I did skip the tattoos, didn't I? I'll get one next time. Maybe confirmation step or something for skipping a tattoo. Yeah, the moment-to-moment judgment to whether or not to go for a ball that is timer is nearly running out or not is really neat. Is there a way to look at their limbs before I press yoink? Can I press yoink and then cancel? Because I get the option to yoink the limbs, and I don't feel very aware of what the other player has got before I click on that. Uh-oh. Okay. Bonus serves now serve an additional ball. Critters survive 1 hit from a ball. I've got a couple of critters, so the critter synergy makes sense. Progression design is really good. Can I can do a merge. Reroll, can't afford anything like that yet. Okay. Yeah, the progression design and like the amount of different upgrades and stuff you've got feels pretty neat. I've been forgetting to serve my own balls. I just kept only really focusing on hitting theirs back. Gonna save some money because being able to re-roll until you get the same thing again is probably the best. I do like these sort of Underlords type systems where you've got a couple of synergies that you stack, because they give you a very like open possibility space at the beginning of the game where you can have whatever you want, and then later on in the game you don't have to think about it so much because it's like, well, I'm going for, you know, dinos, critters, and the lucky thing, so, you know. Oh yeah, return is there. Okay, so I can use that instead of yoink. Scratcher. Okay, so it's got their star level there. You need 3 to make it 2 stars. You need 6 to make it 3 stars. That's very clear again. Really, really solid interface design. Good use of color coding. Neat. Haven't lost any matches yet, but they have all been very solid games today, haven't they? I think sometimes when I pick a theme based on lucky and critter, I want that. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, I sold my. That was bad. That was not what I wanted to do. Okay, whatever. Match the traits from my head, but I haven't got a head at the moment, so I need to get a new head. Okay. This would totally have been a Sega Dreamcast game. It's got kind of sort of choo-choo rocket kind of vibes to it. Select a limb to bring into your next run. How do I select the limb to bring into the next run? Do I select it from here? Ah, okay. Snack. Mighty snack. I want to select a limb that is something that I didn't use this time. The 3 rackets. It got tough, yeah. I've got 3 rackets for a head. I want them on my hand. Spooky Arcana broom. Okay. Can you imagine how well this would work as a handheld game as well? I think this would be a really good Switch game. I don't want Dino this time. Although that has a mighty synergy. Okay, we'll go with the Scratcher for the mighty synergy. Sort of makes you realise that tennis is an area control game. I know I saw someone else who made a similar sort of like sports-based auto battler. One of the things they struggled with was just everyone assuming it was going to be multiplayer, just because they got such a strong cultural association between sports games being things you can play against someone, which I think was interesting. I think the fact that this is such a weird theme gets you away from that. It's like almost the fact that it's like, oh, did I just get stuck? Did I pause it in a weird way? I think I might have hit a crash bug there, I'm not sure. Let's go back. I'm going to try a couple more levels. Claymation's fantastic as well. Yeah, I think, if you're struggling with controller support because of the menu layouts, it's not gonna be ideal in terms of your time, but it might be better to think of having different scenes for when you're using a controller, just so things are oriented so that, you know, moving up here to this makes sense and stuff like that. Because yeah, I mean, virtual cursors is never the ideal solution with joysticks. Tentacle. I have a tentacle. I really like that feature you've got where you bring across a limb from your last run, because it helps you to sort of constrain your choices on the next run as well. So when you start off, you've already kind of got the start of a build. You don't have to stick with it, but like sort of engine building games where you put together a set of abilities or a set of gear, it's always about trying to find that balance between like how much do you put. I mean, that's what players like about them. There's a certain amount of stuff where it's just like, I've got to use what I've been dealt, and then there's a certain amount of it where they get control over it, and that balance is why people like doing that activity, I think. Shovel. Spooky critter. Dino snack. That's a seagull wing, which is dino and a snack, I think. Spawns shells. Of course it does. I'm gonna have a shovel leg. Max health for every yoink performed this run. On return effects trigger an additional time. I'm not sure if I've got any of those, but I can build towards it. Oh, that's on return. Spawn a rip. Okay. Reroll. On return. On return, chance to bonus serve, and on return, chance to spawn a rip. I don't know what a rip is. Oh, they are like a hole in the thing that balls go into. I've got a sticker here. I click him. He's like, oh! Got nothing in my pockets. Ah, the banana got me. You fiend. Ugh. Why did I do that? It was so far away from anything I needed to go to. And hot potato. Oh, that stack. There was a 15 stack that time. Scary. Yeah, the banana peel's cool. It's linked to the snack. When you manage to start deliberately combining the stacks, it feels great. Okay, I'm gonna have to move on to the next game. That's great. Really, It's like you're doing such a solid job of doing all of the auto battler upgrade tree stuff, and the core gameplay is not really that. It's something quite different. It has a much more active element, and it kind of just goes to show that if you're trying to kind of blend two things together, you still need to sort of deliver on doing one of those things in a very tight way. And I feel like the kind of auto battler upgrade tree thing shows a really good understanding of that genre of game, and then the way it's applied in the core gameplay of what you're doing in a match is very different, and it's very well executed. It's neat. I'm really, really glad we checked that out today. 7 in the chat said the AI is good, seems to prioritize the higher stacks very well. Yes, I feel like that would be the key sort of balancing variable for the AI. If you want the AI to get gradually higher, would be to have it randomly hit the weaker stack if it's supposed to be easier, you know. Really neat, really neat. Let's check out Ghostly Acres for the last sort of 20 minutes or so. This is like an idle game, so I don't know how far we're going to be able to get because these tend to be like deliberately slow. But let's check it out. New game. So I don't think we have a lot of in-game direction from what I can see. There's a ghost getting out of bed and drinking some water. And there's a ghost in an armchair. And I can build water coolers. I can build beds. I see. Oh, this is a cute little mechanic. Okay, so I build a bed. Guests get out of bed. And they walk along and they do other stuff. And then it also costs coins to clear stuff on the path, I think. So my valet goes out and clears that. And then I can also place more beds. He gets in a bed. I put a water cooler there. Oh no, he's a... Okay, I get it. Okay, so this person clears up and this person builds things. Not sure how I get a new guest to go into this bed. Okay. Are you getting rid of those things because there's no guest in them? Or are you clearing the money out? It's quite active for an idle game. Did they call it an idle game or did they call it an incremental game? I mean, I guess it's an idle game in the sense that you could leave it alone and just let it do stuff. But I don't see any characters doing stuff unless I interact. Oh yeah, he's doing something. So in order to upgrade, in order to unlock the other stuff, I need more beds and water coolers. So I need to just continue building with these things. They don't cost any money anyway, by the looks of it. So clearing the space is the thing that costs the money. I don't quite understand these exclamation marks, so don't know if the dev is watching this or watching back on the VOD. There's a few things where I probably need a little bit more guidance here than what I'm getting. So no one at the moment. Do I get money back when they do that? Okay. I don't know, the kind of interaction design here is a little bit confusing. So when I've got a water cooler, I collect money from it, which doesn't immediately make sense anyway, because people don't pay for water coolers, right? But then when I click on a bed that's been used, it goes away. Water cooler collects 6 coins after 2 visits. Okay. 60 coins. So the water cooler doesn't go away, but the beds do. And I guess that's supposed to represent, like, it's a hotel and you are making the bed. But I think having that as a building of the bed rather than dressing the bed is a bit confusing. Because what you do to run a hotel is you dress the bed. You know, you don't rebuild it every time. Might be a mechanical reason for having it that way, but it's not sort of fitting with the theme of what's happening in the game. What's that? Is that just a bag of coins? Is there any benefit to having them further away? Getting some ectoplasm. Okay. So eventually we build a chain of things for them to interact with. And okay. I can see how this could get really satisfying once you've got it set into a big chain. Kind of like a Factorio type game mixed with something like the board game called Wingspan that has all of these actions that trigger in a row based on this like tableau of stuff you build. Are you going to go get some fruit as well? No, you're not going to get any fruit. Okay. I find the slow steps of the staff quite irritating. Like, I get that the characters need to walk that way because of the pace of the game, but I would like if she, when I click for her to go and do a job, I'd like if she just walked straight there. I think we're probably going to get a vending machine, but they're just, the upgrade tree just doesn't make sense as things that people spend money on, I guess. Is it a hotel or a hostel? Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it being reasonably abstract of like everyone's in the same room or whatever. I get that it's like an abstraction, but yeah, it's a hostel rather than a hotel. But that kind of makes sense for ghosts, you know? A ghost hostel? No? Now, do they go to, if you make 2 of the same thing, do they actually go to both of them? Or have I messed this lane up by putting 2 water coolers in it? Hotel. It says it's a hotel. I mean, I can take it as a sort of abstract hotel, but yeah, it is more like a hostel. I really wish the 2 staff characters moved in a smooth line and didn't move in that kind of tile by tile way. It's just too annoying. Very easy thing to change. Can't quite work out whether you need to have 2 water coolers. Is this guy going to go to the other water cooler? He's gonna drink so much water. That's the good thing about being a ghost, is you don't have a bladder, so you can drink as much water as you want. Okay, let's step it up a little bit. Let's A gem safe. Guests can stash their gems for a fee. 1 gems per use, 4 gem per capacity. That's a gem, is that? Okay. So they stash their gems and then you get to take their gems. Naturally. Okay. We're gonna collect some coins from our hideously expensive water machines. Yeah, I don't have a great deal to say about this. It feels quite... I can see the promise of it, that it's going to become quite satisfying, but I feel like you're going to have to play it for like a good hour or two before it kicks up to that point, which is just a general thing with incremental games. I would definitely describe it in marketing as a incremental game rather than idle game, because you're having to click quite constantly. Newsstand. Earn double the coins from the previous item. So this is where we get to start doing like chaining stuff together, right? So the fruit stand gives us more coins, so we want to make sure that that's after a fruit stand. Yeah, I think sluggish is a good word for it. It just it's a little bit slow. It doesn't need to be. I think having to wait for the characters to collect the money is a bit of a mistake. I think, yeah, you mentioned Plants vs. Zombies in the chat. That's a good reference point. And that had the thing, Plants vs. Zombies had the thing where you collected currency by just sort of moving the cursor around when it popped out of the sunflowers. And I think having to wait for the staff to go and collect the currency from the machines is maybe one level too much in terms of how much of the stuff in the game isn't automated. But again, any feelings I have about that are going to be strengthened by the fact that this character takes so long to walk anywhere and you have to wait for every tile that she walks on. Okay, that takes... So the bigger beds make the guests stay for a while. See, this is where the kind of hotel theme feels like it's coming into its own a bit more. It's like I build a higher quality bed, they spend more nights there, they do more runs through the thing. Like the way that the theme fits with the engine building mechanic of like making guests stay longer and spend more money makes total sense. Yeah, there isn't like much downtime in this where I would stop clicking and playing the game and let it do something. And that's because everything runs out, or a lot of things run out. I think, yeah, the beds run out and then you have to make them again and stuff. There isn't a lot of like automation where you can just let the game do its thing. Which makes it kind of not feel like a... Makes it not really feel like an idle game. Is this a worker placement tile laying game? I guess it is, yeah. I mean, it's all about what's in a row. So you put a bed down, the hotel guests spawn from the bed, they walk along all the things that you've put in that pathway. And then when you've got more money, you can buy bigger beds, which makes them stay more nights, so they spawn more times and walk along. Just want enough for a newsstand. Not much for her to do there. Okay. Oh yeah, totally. Having like having some automation that builds over time would definitely be the sort of thing I think people would expect from these kind of Factorio type things. Video games. That's what it's called, isn't it? It's a video game. I like the theme, I like the art, I think the music is well chosen. A lot of the stuff makes sense. I think it's just the overall feel of, yeah, as someone just said in the chat, it is very demanding. It requires you to constantly be clicking. Because the resources run out, you can't really leave it on and go and do something else for a while, which is kind of what I, would think is a core defining thing of an idle game. It is an incremental game, but it's a very demanding one. And maybe there's a stage where we'll get to automate some of this stuff, but I can't see it yet. Upgrades, decor, workshop. Buy upgrades with ectoplasm. I do think if you've got a very slow game and you're making a demo of a very slow game, I do think that you should speed the game up and you should show people the middle of the game, or you should have like, say your game has sections that are representable by all of the letters of the alphabet, right? Your full game is going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Then your demo, if it is a game of like progression, it might be better to have a game that goes like A, D, H, T, Z or something like that. Because a lot of the time when I see locked in demo type stuff on a game like this, I'm like, it makes me feel suspicious that the feature hasn't been built. And I think a lot of people that play games will feel the same way because they will have been stung by early access games and demos before and stuff. So if you're going to have this, make sure we can click into it and see what's there. Because kind of feeling like we might be being tricked because there's a fake feature that we're being told is in the full version and there's no real indication of what that actually is apart from some text. I always think you need to do a little bit more to convince people than that. Especially with a game like this that is so heavily economic and progression based. I just want enough gems to build a newsstand. One more gem. Please put a gem in the safe. It says they can stash their gems in the safe. They don't always do it. Is that how that works? Don't quite understand the gem collection mechanic as well, because you don't go and collect it like you do with coins. It just goes up. Yeah, I mean, the other tabs, it tells us down here what they do, but we can't click into them. Upgrades, decor, workshop. It says unlock for a preview from Mel. Well, unlock tab 500 coins. Okay. I'm just waiting to get enough gems to build the newsstand so that we can get a lot more money a lot quicker. But the problem is that the gems is not going up. And these collect gems, but they only get one each time they're used. Ectoplasm is used on the second tab, so we will get the second tab open before I end this stream. I think we've got time. Just one gem, please. One gem. Just one gem. It's not going up past 19. Even when they interact with those. Oh, hi, there I go. It has to... Oh, okay. The safe has to fill up before you can collect the gems, and then you collect them. That's what I was sort of not getting. It's quite expensive to try and put everything in one row, though, because you have to clear all of these to make enough space, and they get incrementally more expensive. I'm just going to put some cheap beds down, and then hopefully in a minute we'll be able to get the next tab open. Here we go. Nearly new tab time. Prepare to be overwhelmed. Okay, cool. Flip can move faster. Mel can move faster. That's good. Let's make her faster. Guests can visit one more item per stay. Good. Safes can earn an extra gem. I mean, is that just making the capacity higher, though? Trash cans can hold extra trash. Okay, we've got a use for ectoplasm now. That's good. I've always wanted to find a use for ectoplasm. Put the trash can over on the side so it's not actually anywhere where I would build a... Yeah, those upgrades feel nice and chunky and substantial after we've played the slower bit of the game. So the thing is, I really needed to know that this upgrade existed because I was getting quite annoyed with the movement speed of the characters. And if I'd have just known that it was one of the things I was building towards, I wouldn't have been as bothered that it started off so slow. But because this was totally hidden, it's like... It makes you think it might not be a feature in the game. I think another thing you can do because of the multi-row building is you can have a sort of specialist row. So I could make a row that is just for collecting diamonds. So if I put another safe here, we'll try and make a row that is just intended to collect gems. See what happens if I do that. Worth a try. So she gets some water. One gem in there. One gem in there. One gem in there. So now I have a bit more agency because I can say, okay, this is my row for making money. This is my row for when I want gems. And this is my row for when I want someone to try and give me a balance of everything. And then they actually have some sort of distinguishing feature of what they're for, which is cool. I think you can eventually put 2 beds in a row as well, so interested to see what happens if I do that. Yeah, you got to earn the right to be lazy. Isn't that a Beastie Boys song? You've got to earn the right to be lazy. Put 2 beds on this row and see what happens. Double beds. What if we put our ghost beds next to each other? No sleep till bedtime. The famous song. Double beds. I've got some ectoplasm. Let's spend some ectoplasm. Flip, you need to speed up, mate. You're too slow. It's really hard, isn't it? It's like, I think this entire genre of game is very hard to do a demo for, because if you don't have the pace of it being initially slow, then you don't get the satisfaction of hitting this moment, which I'm hitting now, where it starts to feel like, oh yeah, my upgrades are really paying off, I'm getting money a lot quicker, you know, I'm sort of feeling what the full version of this game is like now. I'm not sure... Maybe sometimes with a demo you want that to go by a bit faster. You want to get people there quicker. Hard to say. To want another one of those... I should have left that there, actually. Oh well, I'll just build it again. It's fine. It's fine. I want a big bed. I'm going to get a queen bed in 8 more times of building the queen bed, and then we'll get the king bed. Yeah, I think, sorry, I can't see what your name is. Furfur, sorry. Furfur, your name in the chat is coming up in a weird dark blue colour that's like the only colour I can't read. I think either speeding up the whole game for the demo or jumping the player ahead a little bit might be a good idea. I think that there's this kind of general thing about demo design of it being like an art sort of unto itself. Of like, how do you showcase your game in the best light? And That's not always just starting people at the start of the game. I think if people have examples of demos that they thought were really good, where something was showcased in an unusual way, I'd be really interested in hearing what those are, because it's the sort of thing I would maybe think about doing a video on at some point, because yeah, people just tend to make the start of the game and then go, here you go, here's the demo, it's the start of the game. And I don't think that works for certain types of games. Or it doesn't work as well as other methods might work, you know? She's depositing 2 gems at a time now, so we've just doubled the speed of accumulating gems, which means we can get the newsstands faster, which are like the things that really speed up the income, and double the gems from the previous item. Okay, that's interesting. So we want to sell this and then put a television there, really. Seven is doing some real hardcore analysis of the economy in this game, and you're hitting on something. Seven in the chat is basically saying that they have 6 actions that they do when they move along a row, and that means if you don't have 6 things, you waste 2 of their actions if you've only got 4 and stuff, and then they have to go all the way back until the bed becomes free. So there is like an action economy in this game that is like, how long are the characters on the screen for before they despawn, and then you can use that bed for someone else. That's a really helpful insight, and it kind of makes me think about when you do economy design in a game, how important time is as like a central balancing variable, because you know, people tend to their first run at doing an economy as everything is about coins and stuff like that, but the time that the player spends doing something or waiting for something is really the central balancing variable for most game economies. And this is a really good example of that, and what you just pointed out is a really good example of that. I've got 25, nearly got enough to get another upgrade on something. I hope that TV noise doesn't play every time someone watches the TV, because it's quite a hefty sound effect. Good, yeah. The God mode at the start, demo start. Yeah, I think the first Assassin's Creed game did that. It started you off with everything and then you lost it all. It's an old Metroidvania from about 10 years ago called Shadow Complex that did it very well as well. Start you off with all the Metroidvania upgrades and then just go, nope, now you don't have them anymore. Because your suit has been powered down or whatever the reason is. Not accumulating money very quickly now. I'm going to have to stop this in a moment, folks, because I have to prepare for a work call. I am just in the process of finishing a contract on an educational game. And I need to do some handover stuff. So just hand over some files that I've made and go, this is how this file works. Use your very first row. Yeah, I guess this row is cheaper to upgrade, isn't it? So maybe... Really want the second money-making thing. But yeah, not a what's it called? Not a queue for everyone making an educational game to get in contact, because I don't want to work on educational games. I find it really difficult. I find there's like a just element of second guessing whether anyone is going to learn anything from the thing the whole time that I don't enjoy. It's hard enough to make a game fun. Making a game fun and also do something else is very, very challenging. Okay. Just all the fruit. Just buy some fruit, guys. Come on. Got some ectoplasm to spend. Got a lot of gems, nothing to spend them on. I think this point of the game it starts to feel very strong, because you've got these decisions of like, oh, do I clear the bed first or do I collect the money first, and that kind of stuff going on that I think when you first play it you don't really understand enough about the game to know why you would do things in a particular order. I wonder if one of these would do better if I put another... TV in somewhere. Now we're raking it in now. That's what you want. I have to say, it's not the most ergonomically designed hotel I've ever visited. I feel like if they did change row when they finished a row, it would create a more interesting puzzle. I don't know how difficult it would make things from a balancing point of view, but I could see it making the game more interesting in terms of just having a bigger sort of possibility space of things to think about and everything. Six AM. I appreciate people tuning in at 6 AM. I can't remember what 6 AM is. No, that's not right. True. I'm usually awake at that time, but not doing anything where I engage with other human beings at that time of day usually. I just usually go outside to a deserted public space and scream at the sky. That's what I'm usually doing at 6 AM. Sort of like a werewolf, but like, what if a werewolf was just a man? You know? A wereman. Cadenza, did you find out what the explosions were? Is it like a car backfiring or something? Are they not going to tell anyone? A stove, 400 coins after 4 visits, 2 times the trash. We're going to need to do some trash management, I think, guys. When do the Ghostbusters arrive? That would be a dark turn. I think having this many stoves sort of in a checkerboard formation with sort of these retro 1970s looking TVs, I think there might be some health and safety codes being violated here. I think this is one of those, like, it's giving the vibes of one of those, like, negligent old people's homes, you know? Right, folks, as much as I want to incrementally unlock more of this stuff and see what's there, I need to wrap this stream up. So thank you all for joining today. It's lovely to chat to you all. And a really nice set of games. I think the creepy but cute theme did us well. We had Ghostly Acres, a lovely little incremental, upgradey, buildy, chain economic Factorio type clicker game. It did feel much more like a clicker or an incremental game than an idle game specifically. It is structured so that you automate more as you go into the game. But I'm not sure idle is the word I would go for straight away there. Torso Tennis, which is combining a very sort of quick reaction-based match of tennis with some very bizarre sort of Dota Underlords type auto battler, upgrading your guy type stuff, merging different body parts together to make a player. Really neat. Really like that. Wonderful art style and graphic design, and just all of the interface was a joy to interact with. We had Cradle of Hatred, Hannah, which was a scary Zelda-like, I guess, a kind of Ocarina of Time feeling 3D exploration game. I didn't get to a point where I got to see anything like this, but we've got some Eldritch Abominations in there. Really lovely art style. Character control felt very good. This had some areas where I think it was quite easy to get lost in that first section, but some very neat puzzle design and yeah, just doing very well there in terms of like it's quite a hard genre to get right, getting like the feel of a character moving around in a world, in a 3D world with the camera and everything. There's a reason why at AAA studios just 3Cs is its own sort of technical design job. 3Cs in larger studios refers to character, camera, and controls. And you get people in big AAA teams where that is their entire job. They don't do any level design. They don't design the economy. They don't design the enemies. They just design that thing. And I think that's testament to how hard that is to get right. And I think this type of game is particularly like a 3D character-driven adventure game is one of the types of games where it's hardest to get right. And I think this is nearly there at getting that right. And really, really lovely atmosphere and world. And then, yeah, the first game we looked at was Abysm, which is a really funny, quite moody, little bit spooky combination of Boulder Dash, which is a sort of action puzzle game from the 80s. There's been lots and lots of different iterations of Boulder Dash with a Lovecraftian theme that made it feel like Amnesia Rebirth or something like that, which really kind of funny combination of things on the surface when you first hear, and then when you see it in action, it's like, no, that actually goes perfectly well, and the things aren't just an arbitrary mix of like, oh, let's do Boulder Dash but make it spooky. It actually works very, very well for that theme. So really, really impressed with that. And yeah, all of the links are on the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube. So go and download those and check them out if you want to. And thanks to everyone who checked in for the live stream. As always, if you want to submit a game, have a look at my website, indiegameclinic.com, where it says, please submit it here. There's other stuff on here about what I do, about the Discord community. There's a list of games I've worked on, because occasionally people go, what have you ever even made? I bet you've never made anything. And it's true, I've never made anything apart from these personal projects that were mostly broken, half-finished jam games, and then all of the commercial games that I've worked on. And I think the reason why that is helpful is, yes, I haven't released loads of solo indie game projects, but I have worked in as a part of lots of larger teams and seen how they handle things. And I think that is probably where this channel stands out a little bit in terms of game dev education channels, because you don't often get a game dev YouTuber who has been a designer in a bigger team or a producer in a bigger team and has done those kind of project management side of things. So yeah, we have a slightly different vibe here. It's a little bit more focused on game design. It's a little bit less focused on engines and coding and stuff like that, because ultimately I think that's something you kind of need to learn by reading the manual. And that's why I don't do loads and loads of content about the technical side of things, because I've never been able to learn that way. I've never been able to learn myself from video tutorials how to do technical things. I think engaging with people and like talking like we do now in this kind of chat is better for experiential things like design and stuff like that. So even if I was a way better programmer than I am, which is a not very good programmer, I would still probably focus on this kind of stuff and looking at your games and talking about the kind of the core design of the game rather than the technical side of things. So I appreciate everyone who has supported this channel, and we've managed to keep the sort of ethos the same really since I started this over a year ago now. I've experimented with lots of different types of content and done different types of streams, different types of videos, but that kind of focus on indie games that are still being made and thinking about the kind of the game design, the UX, the theming, the vibe of them, art direction, all of that side of things is kind of really what the heart of this channel is. So I really appreciate it when people drop in for the streams and support that way. So thank you all today for doing that, and I